Wakey! It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going.
It is the 25th day of May 2023. My name is MC Kalia and welcome to this particular broadcast. Being Thursday, it is the social square. Leo ni ile siku tunakuanga tumerelax, hatuna pressure, and today with us on set is or rather two gentlemen. Of course, we expected to have a lady, but she seems to be running late. So with us is Mr. Kamau, who is actually the organizer, part of the organization team as the chairperson of AFLEWO. And also we have Denoski, who is the events manager for the AFLEWO event. But then before we come to them, allow me to also remind you that we are coming live from Dawi Afrique Photography. Dawi Afrique Photography is situated in Eldoret. It is a photography studio stroke a production studio, and so if you need anything that goes into video and photo production, consider working with us. As you can see, live streaming is one of our services because actually we are coming to you via a live stream. So make sure that you journey with us. Let's have this conversation. But then remember to also like the broadcast and also share it. In addition to that, on the 17th and 18th day of 2023, that is June 2023, we shall be going to Rimoi, Tokotenda Rimoi. Remember that Dawi Africa has a safaris branch, and we have a safari organized for you to go and camp in Rimoi. Rimoi is actually in Elgeyo Marakwet for 2 days. So Rimoi Park is known to have the biggest elephants in the region. And so if you are willing, if you would love to see amazing nature, then consider being part of those who would be joining us on the 17th and 18th June 2023. Also, just to remind you, if you need to dress to be addressed, walk into D Square Fashion House. D Square Fashion House is situated in Eldoret. That is at the Ketias building, 4th floor. So if you have a wedding or any event that you'd want to dress to be addressed, then walk into D Square Fashion House. And the good news is that now they also allow you to take up fashion as a career. What does that mean? That means that they now also have a school. They have a school called D Square School of Fashion Design and Tailoring. So anytime you hear someone saying they want to take up fashion, or if you want to take up fashion as a career, then walk into D Square School of Fashion Design and Tailoring. Now back to today's topic. Of course, we're talking about AFLEWO. I know it is a word that has actually gone so far in terms of popularity, but then so many people may not even know what exactly it is. And so at this particular time, I want to give a chance to chairperson of AFLEWO to introduce himself and maybe tell us something small, maybe in 3 words, what is the meaning, or what is the full form of AFLEWO. Karibu sana, chairperson.
Thank you very much. My name is Joseph Kamau. I am saved. Christ is Lord this morning. I'm glad that we are here. Thank you for hosting us. I am a father of 2 and a husband to 1. This morning, we are talking about AFLEWO. AFLEWO is an acronym of Africa Let's Worship. Africa Let's Worship. It is an interdenominational group of worshippers of all ages and all kinds. We are glad that we are in Eldoret so far. AFLEWO, it was started in Nairobi by the alumni of Daystar University back in 1999. It was started, the first event started in Nairobi, 2004. And from then to date, every year we have one day in a year where we come together to worship the Lord and to have to prepare rather an environment of worship. We invite everybody to come and worship and pray to our Father. We are so far in a number of cities in this country. Started in Nairobi, we went to Mombasa, it's in Meru, it's in Nyeri, it's Nakuru, and Eldoret is the youngest. We are in our 6th edition. The rest are above 6 editions.
Okay, so maybe I'll come to Denoski, then I'll still come back to you to tell us how it started and all that. But then Denoski, then also maybe say something about the event. Of course, give yourself proper introduction, and then tell us your role in the AFLEWO events.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here, grateful to be here. Thank you for inviting us so that we can come and discuss more about AFLEWO. My name is Denoski, or rather Dennis Kisheru. I happen to be the events manager at AFLEWO, and basically my work is to coordinate and help to organize the event. Vile chair amesema, it actually happens once a year, and there's a lot of things that need to be done to make sure that the event is successful. We have been around for 6 years, and we thank God because so far we have seen great impact in the society as far as the event is concerned. So yes, so that is basically about me and my work and what I do at AFLEWO.
And maybe before I let you go, tell us about now. That means that you are the organizer for what I would call maybe the Eldoret chapter.
Yeah, it's called that.
So that means that each and every town has their hierarchy of how AFLEWO runs its own events. Okay, thank you so much. Now coming back to you, Chairperson, of course, if you're watching us at home, make sure that you do help us share the broadcast. If you have any questions to ask, this is the time to ask those questions. Of course, we're still just trying to understand the origin of AFLEWO, why AFLEWO. And so, Chairperson, tell us about the acronym AFLEWO. How did you arrive at saying AFLEWO?
Thank you. We actually found, well, we were not among the pioneers back in 90s, rather say 96 to 2000. We found an already existing group, but as they tell us, they were looking for something that can unite Africa, something that sounds African. And as they were discussing among themselves, they came to Africa Let's Worship. That's their main aim, Africa Let's Worship. And so AFLEWO came in, and there we go. Yes.
You will ask the question, there is someone who's never attended any of the AFLEWO events. Somebody who's never come across the name AFLEWO, or if they have come across it, because I told you the name might have gone before the activities.
Sure.
What usually happens during AFLEWO?
Thank you. AFLEWO, like it goes, Africa Let's Worship, is actually as it is. It's just a call for Africans to come together and worship the Lord. Our main aim being one day, one night, having all countries in Africa worshiping the Father. One day. You can imagine from Egypt to South Africa, one day, say like on a Friday, whole night, the whole Africa bowing down for the to worship the Mecca. I think that would be awesome. Yes. So the main aim of AFLEWO and what we do is just worship and prayer. Rather, we prepare, as are the organizers, for example, a chapter. We prepare the environment for you and so many believers to just come and worship. That ukiingia tu kwa ile hall, you just come to worship. Yes.
Okay, and back to you, Denoski. Now let's look at, of course, does it mean that all these events happen on the same day throughout the country, or at the moment you still have Eldoret organizing their own on their own day, or do they also run simultaneously with all the other towns?
Oh, they happen on different dates, depending with now the chapters. Like for example, Eldoret, we used to do the event actually during the end of the year. But again, after some times, we thought that we can start the year by doing the AFLEWO event. So normally, it actually depends with now the chapters. Like I don't know, Nairobi is yet to do the event, or they have already done the event. So, but now the main objective is just to unite the body of Christ through worship, and actually the vision is to steer hope among the people of Africa. So it actually depends with the chapter.
Okay, and if it depends with the chapter, now let's talk about the previous events. Of course, you've been now part of the Eldoret chapter. You've been an organizer for some time. What do you consider a successful event as the organizer of such a particular event?
What I consider a successful event, it's actually when we gather people from different churches, different denominations, and most importantly, to unite the body of Christ and even to unite pastors. Can you imagine people coming to worship in one night, regardless of where they come from? Either you go to Catholic, Anglican, or whatever. For example, I'm a member of the Anglican Church of Kenya. My chairperson is a member of the Presbyterian Church of Kenya. So you see, the main goal is actually to bring people together under one umbrella, which is now to worship one God. For us at AFLEWO, we believe that God is the owner of AFLEWO. So I can say the success of this event is just to see people from around Eldoret, to see people from different culture and lifestyle and denomination, just to come under one particular roof and praise and worship God. And yani basically that day is just to worship and to pray. So I can say since I have been around since 2017, and yani just to see the success of event is when you see people worshiping and praying together. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuned in at home and or rather at work, because this is actually a media that goes to smaller devices, so most of the people could be watching us from their phones. This is the Morning Glory Show. It is a show speak to you from Dawi Afrique Photography every day from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. On Thursdays, we usually have a show that focuses on social issues, which is this particular show called The Social Square. And this particular morning, we are talking about AFLEWO, which is actually an acronym for Africa Let's Worship. And we're just trying to get the background of the event. We're trying to look at what would we consider as a successful AFLEWO. Why would you attend AFLEWO? Why not go to a different kesha on that particular day? And chairperson, somebody would also wonder, what are some of the impactful moments that you have had since you became part of AFLEWO, both at a personal level and at an organizational level?
Thank you. If you can allow me just to add on what Denoski has said on the question of the chapters, like you asked. Yes, each chapter has their own management style. Of course, we have a guideline, what we call a handbook, but each chapter does their flow on their own dates. I also would like to mention that we are also in Kigali, Rwanda, and Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Like this year, this is 2023, only Kigali has done their worship night. Now we will be the second one of 2023, that is Eldoret. The rest of them will come thereafter. There are some in August, some in September, some in all the way up to November. Back to your question on the most impactful and why come to AFLEWO. Currently, majority of our Africans, or rather like Kenya, if I can say, majority don't go to church. And because they don't go to church, even them that go to church don't have moments of worship. Our churches and the way we've programmed our programs, we do not really emphasize on worship. You'd find you emphasize on announcements, you emphasize on fundraising, you emphasize on other groups. If we can tell ourselves why we were created to worship. Whatever we do, how we dress, how we talk, how we behave, our main purpose on earth is to worship. And so if we can arrange and organize and give that which is missing in churches, if in a program or a service of 2 hours, you'd find worship being given 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And you're wondering, I came to worship. So for 2 hours, you're giving me 10 minutes. Now, this particular night, we are giving you a whole 12 hours. We have what we call watches, that is 4 watches. We are supposed to begin our event between 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That is 6 to 9, we call that first watch. 9 to 12, that is midnight, we call that second watch. 12 to 3 a.m., we call that third watch, and then 3 to 6. By 6, we are done. So in a situation, you are given a whole night just to come and worship and pray for the whole night. We do nothing else, remember. We don't preach, we don't do announcements, we don't do nothing. We just worship and pray. So you have every reason just to attend and quench that which you have been missing throughout the year. Yes.
Okay, that is quite elaborative. And now let's come to Denoski. And Denoski, the question that many people ask is, how different will this year's event be? Take us through the process of preparation and paint a picture of what we expect to see on the second day of June 2023. Actually, it is coming up in less than a week, right?
Yes.
So we just want to look at the process of preparation. What are some of these things that you have in stock for us? Which churches are part of it this time? What is new that was not there last time?
Thank you. But first, I would like to tell a story about the most impactful moment of AFLEWO. And I think it was actually in 2017 or 18. There's a photo I've shared with you. So we actually hired someone to come and take photos and videography during the event. So we gave this guy the tender. And then immediately, maybe 2 weeks after the event, we looked for this guy na kumuuliza, hey ndugu, masiku zimepita, wapi picha tuoni? The guy didn't have an explanation to that. So after going through some of the photos that were taken by the congregants, we came across a particular photo of the videographer. He was actually kneeling and he was praying and he was in deep worship. And we were like, oh my goodness. This is the reason why we do AFLEWO. This is the main objective of now doing AFLEWO. Yani ndio karudi tukapigia the guy simu akasema enyewe, that is true. I actually, when I was in that presence, yani niliingia katika kuabudu na nikasahau kila kitu. And actually that is what the chairman had mentioned earlier on.
But before we go on to answer that question, to me that is conflict of interest. Anyway.
We were like, you know what? Wow. This is the reason why we are doing AFLEWO. This is the main reason why we are doing AFLEWO, just to have one soul, other one person to worship. In regards to preparation, our team has actually put in the effort and the work just to make sure that everything is in place. First, we want even to thank God for our partners and our sponsors. They have come in handy just to support this vision and make sure that we achieve our objective, or rather our goal. In terms of now worship, we have a very able team. We have very able ministers. Wametufanya kazi mzuri sana just to make sure that the choir, imagine Kalia, the choir has been practicing since February. Wamekuwa kifanya practice to meet each and every week just to practice for that particular night. And also we have pastors. We have been doing a prayer session, intercessory, so that we can just pray for that one particular night. And even the management team, which the main objective is to plan and organize event. They have done a great job just to make sure that everything is in place. One of the key pillars of AFLEWO is to serve God with excellence. So we put so much work, we put so much effort just to make sure that one particular night we do it with a lot of excellence. Siati hivi because tulikuwa tunasema just look at yourself, how God created you. I was a poet kitambo, and one of my favorite line ilikuanga, God ni creative. Ebu imagine vile create Eve. See you can snap.
Lines zako zinachapa, I told you. Denoski unachapa bana bro. Najua. And I'm tying it to whatever you're saying, Denoski. Of course, take us through the process now. Of course, you're organizing this year's event, but then as an event planner, you must also be thinking of how the future looks like. Take us through the process. When you sit down and say, of course, we must put up an AFLEWO in 2023, how does it start? Take us through what happens until we reach the event day and then we start.
Okay, actually a lot happens behind the stage, and you know that. I know you once an event planner. So first of all, we look for a venue, because this kind of event will attract not less than 3,000, 4,000 people. So first we have to look for a venue that will accommodate all these people. And this year we're very lucky and fortunate enough. We thank God because we have managed to get Deliverance Church, which has the capacity to hold such a crowd. And of course we have just to look at the church, the capacity. Then another thing we need now, we focus on so much is now participants and members of the choir. We also have a team, we call them the support team. which includes the ushers, the protocol team, the security team, and also finances and resources are required, because doing such an event, you require a lot of resources. So we have even a team that goes out there to look for partners, to look for resources, so that we be able to cater for all our budget on that particular day.
Okay, and Chairperson, now coming to you and connecting to what Denoski has said, what kind of partners are you looking for? How do you gauge that this one can be a partner and all that?
Thank you. Denoski reminds me of another impactful moment where 3 years down the line, that is 2017, 2018, 2019, towards the end after the event, is when we learned that some friends of our partners, rather, we had some people, girls in the choir, and they have friends in college. And one of the friends happened to be a Muslim. Can you imagine? She has attended all their AFLEWO since day. We don't even know her, but the friends told us that I have a friend who is a Muslim and he loves what you guys do. To us, that was very impactful. Back to your question on the type of sponsors we are looking for. Anybody who agrees and subscribes to our faith. For example, our purpose is uniting Christians or believers in worship. So if you are a believer, you worship God and you love God, and your purpose is aligned with us, we are okay with that. That it won't tarnish any of our character, any of our beliefs. We are okay with that. Definitely, we will need money on top of the sponsorship. We will need in kind, like now what you're doing. You have really helped us big time to reach out to them big numbers that you have that are following you. You know, that is partnership. We go to another partner who may not have such kind of what we need, but maybe they can give us money. We go to, for example, this year, it's good to mention that St. Luke has partnered with us, and you know, coming to give us a standby ambulance and maybe some nurses. It's good to know, and it's good to have such kind of partners. As much as they are marketing themselves, they are also helping us. We will need that partnership so much. So basically, it's money and whatever that we need that maybe you also have. Yes.
Okay, and this goes to Denoski, of course. You know, Denoski is a friend of mine for quite some time. And Denoski, what happens if good brands of Tamasha decides to sponsor the event? Anyway, before we come there, of course, Evelyn Gotini says, great team, AFLEWO Eldoret chapter has been a blessing to me. The atmosphere in that night is super amazing, especially if you are a lover of worship. I can't wait for the 2nd June event. Fanuel George says, good morning, AFLEWO. Mike Masha says, great team, thank you so much. Enoch Methuselah says he's following live from Pioneer. Glamwash Beauty Parlor says, God bless you, AFLEWO. Good work, Mr. Chairperson. Sylvester Opudo says, or rather Opudo says, good to hear from Denoski, our event manager. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. Of course, I can see Joyce Maina in the building. Thank you so much. Bonidi Poet is asking, what stage are poets? Do you have poets?
Bonnie is my friend.
Of course, he's your friend, but he's asking a question.
Yes,
and
yes.
Of course, you'll be the one answering these questions. In fact, Sylvester is correcting the chair, saying we did partners and not sponsors. Okay. Thank you so much for the correction. And now, Denoski, in addition to what the people are asking, we've talked about the chairperson has talked about the partners and how they can come in and all that. 4,000 people. We're talking about 4,000 people. Of course, there are considerations that you must make if you're going to host 4,000 people. Give me confidence that I being among the 4,000, my security, my safety is catered for, in addition to the questions that have been asked.
First, thank you to Sylvester Puda. He's actually a pastor and a member of the management. Thank you for following. You see, as an event planner, one thing that you have to put into consideration when you're planning an event is actually security and safety. And now that the event is happening during the night, that is actually one of our first priority. As I said earlier on, we have a team. We have a team. We call them the support team, and in that team, we have now the security department, and also we work very closely with the Kenya Police, and also we also want to thank God because our host church, Deliverance Church, has been able to give us a number of security, and also our resource mobilization team. They have been able to put some resources to cater for that particular need. And also because we are a faith-based organization, of course, we just have to pray na tuvunje minyororo yote ya shetani. So I just want to assure you that in terms of security, everything is in place. Our ushers, of course, the support team, they have been with us since day one. We have done trainings and what have you, just to make sure that we have a seamless flow of the event. So I just want to assure our friends and everyone who is watching that come on that day, your security and your safety will be a priority to us. Yes, thank you. And also, can I answer Bonnie?
Yeah, you need to answer Bonnie because poets can actually worship.
He was here yesterday. He did a good job, and Mr. Chia can agree with me that for like the last 3 years, we have been able to have poets and spoken word artists to actually open the event. Before we start the event, we have been able to host them for 3 consecutive years, and Bonnie has been on my case for a very long time. Tusaidie. So now that the chair is here, I am pretty sure that we will do something, and at least give them a platform so that they can worship God through their God-given talent. And as you know, I was a poet before. Nikuwe mtu ya vitamba.
No, he was a poet before his lines ran away. Pastor here would say that, Sylvester would say that what you don't use, God takes away. So, wakati ulianza kufunga vitambaa, talent ikatambaa. Anyway, Chairperson, say something about the poet so that we close that matter.
Thank you. I was told by the young people wakati ili tamba. Yes, it's a part of worship. It's part of what we do. There are them that don't sing. There are them that we are talented differently. We have preachers, we have teachers of the word, we have intercessors, we have singers, there are people who can even play very nice musical instruments, but they cannot sing. So we are talented differently, and like we said, our purpose is to unite Christians in worship. We bring all of them on board. Whatever you can do to uplift the name of Christ, we are good with it. So if it's spoken word, I remember one time we had... I think Caris, now Hope FM.
Man Caris.
Then was Fish FM, and he did a very good job. They are the ones who gave us the idea of we can also do this now that we cannot sing, and we are grateful. Yes, we will do something concerning the spoken words and literature. Yes.
Okay, najua pia ma MC
I've also seen Elvin commenting over there. Elvin last year did poetry during our event, and actually this year she's part of the choir. So you can see the transition.
She started with poetry.
Mistari
the choir. Okay. So mistari zilikonvertiwa zikafanya zikakuwa musical.
Zikakuwa pambio.
And this goes to Chairperson again, because of course I realize that when I ask anything about who is participating, Denoski looks at you. And so the question comes in, how do you choose the people who worship, the worship leaders? How do you select and what is the criteria?
Okay, thank you. We have various categories of the process. Beginning with is maybe we announce out there that the process for this year has started, and who would like to join? We do posters, we talk to people, we the online platforms, and ask people to come on board. We do something called auditions. Auditions is where you just come and showcase what you can be able to do. Mostly not to be told no or yes. We actually take everybody. We are yet to grow like Nakuru and maybe Nairobi, where you have so many applying, over 500, and you can only manage a certain number. So that's where now you can go per the capabilities. But for Eldoret, so far, we are taking everybody that comes. Like this year, we had about 140 applications, and we allowed all of them. Of course, during the process, when it gets intense, some maybe wear out, like you're needed for keshas to practice and pray almost every week, every Friday, and maybe a number may not be able to do that, so they pull out, or rather they excuse themselves for next season. But definitely, basically that's what we do. We do the auditions. After the auditions, it's where you can categorize who can do what depending on our abilities. Who can play keys? You can get 5 keyboardists. I'm sure they are not on the same level, all of them. You can get like 90, so to say, vocalists. Again, that are not on the same ability. So when you allow all of them, now you go to the practices, is when now maybe the music director, those guys that are skilled in music, now can know who to assign where. So after the auditions is when we categorize and give people assignments. Yes.
And there is a question I asked Denoski about how he measures success as an event planner. From a spiritual point of view, I may use that. Of course, we've talked about some of the impactful moments. Now let's talk about generally this 6 editions you've had in Eldoret, the more than 6 editions you've held elsewhere. What would you stand today and say, this is what AFLEWO has been able to achieve for those who've attended over the years? What impact has it had on their worship experience?
Thank you. One of the, or rather top on the list of the impacts that we have done is to uplift the worship teams of our churches in Eldoret. There are people who could not lead a song. Maybe they were just used in what we call background support, the BGVs. But today, they are the top. They are the ones leading. They have gone to a point of even teaching and training worship teams in churches. To us, that is very impactful, because churches, even now, we are yet to be somewhere where we can say now, Eldoret, we are doing good in terms of excellence in music. But those platforms that help the skills grow is what we do. For example, when you call people, you've heard like Elvin used to be an usher in the beginning, came to a spoken word. Today she's in the choir. Those are the growth we are talking about. Yesterday we had somebody who was in the support team, joined the choir. Today they are playing keys. So that growth, if we can spread it all across the churches, that is what we are looking for. And of course, lastly is when you unite churches, that this church has an event, we all go there. The other one has an event, we all go there. Unlike there before, nobody cares for each other. Whichever church has an event, even the rest don't know. You only care about your own church. Today, we are united. That a friend at ICC Shauri has something, we are all there. IVC, a friend calls us, because now we are a team. They are all in our team. So they have something even after the event. we will go there. Pastor Sylvester JCC has something going on, maybe a program of a day or two, and he has requested AFLEWO. Even if we don't go as a brand of AFLEWO, we have members that will attend. So that unity, I think to us is very good spiritually. Yes, apart from now the skillful growth. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Of course, if you're tuned in, this is the Morning Glory Show. It is coming live from Dawi Afrique Photography. Dawi Afrique Photography is a production house based in Eldoret. And remember that we also have a Safaris branch. So on the 18th, or rather the 17th and the 18th day of June 2023, we shall be visiting Rimoi. Not just visiting and coming back, but we shall be camping there for the 17th and the 18th day. Bonfires, team buildings, and any other good experience you may think of in a camping experience. All you need to do is to actually reach out to our office. Of course, we have our Facebook page, Dawi Afrique Photography and Safaris. We have our office there in Zion Mall. Some of you have our numbers. If you don't have our number, you can ask someone who knows someone who may be having our number, or you can just tell me in the comment section that we would love to be part of that particular trip to go to Rimoi on the 17th and the 18th day of June. That is next month. And actually, just to remind you, is that next month, by the time we're reaching next month, I think it's almost 2 weeks away from now. So you'd have enough time to plan and make sure that you have some fun for yourself. Also, just to mention is that whatever we're talking today about, that is AFLEWO, is going down on the 2nd day of June. That is barely a week, right?
Yeah, next week on Friday.
Yeah, next week on Friday. So please make sure that you do attend the event. I'm sure chairperson may want to add emphasis on that, on how to make sure that you have a nice experience. Maybe there's somebody planning to attend. You can already tell them how to plan themselves, what time they need to come in, and what they need to know about the event.
Sure, thank you. On Friday, that is the 2nd of June, next week on Friday, we'll be at Deliverance Church on your way to E10, opposite Kipchoge Keino Stadium. The event starts, like I was saying, we have 4 watches. Eldoret, we are yet, being the youngest, we are yet to observe the first watch, the 6 to 9. So basically that's the preparation and the setup time. But when it comes to 8, that's when the event will start. So my advice would be there by at least 6:37, so that you get a good position for yourself to worship the Lord. We are hopeful that the church will be full. So if you come after 7, you may not get a nice position to sit. Yes.
Okay. And somebody is asking if there is a space to volunteer even at this particular time, Denoski.
Yes, of course we can make arrangements for that. In terms maybe on the support team, maybe the person can just contact us through our social media handles, AFLEWO Eldoret, and then our admin will pick it from there. Yes, because we do believe that the Bible says that every good and perfect gift is from above, and it's through the Heavenly Father that we get this gift. So the question that you asked here earlier on, and I also like to weigh in on the matter, that for example, Denoski cannot be a good worship, or rather a singer, but I can use my talent, which is organizing the event, just for the glory of God. So we do encourage them. So actually we can start that conversation. And now that this is an annual event, of course, even next year we can still partner with them who wish to come and volunteer.
And let's now talk about the part that many people don't want to talk about. Let's talk about the challenges. What are the challenges of organizing such an event? Maybe people are seeing the front end and are very happy and are saying, okay, this is a wonderful event. Of course, there are those who will also come on that day and say, this year wakufanya ile kitu. You know, there's that guitarist they brought last year. What are the challenges that you go through to bring together all these, of course, being interdenominational, of course, there are challenges that come, but what are the challenges in terms of managing the whole thing?
Of course, the challenges are many, but on that particular question, I will really love the chair to go first so that nisichome, and then I can pick it from there.
And I can see him telling you, my son, don't answer that. Please let it come to me first.
Not really. Denoski is the one very cheeky person. If you're not careful, you will be answering all the questions. Remember, there is a question I would want us to discuss, the one you mentioned, Tamasha. We will still come back there. It's good to be proper and loud. Challenges are there. Just to mention a few. Resource mobilization. We are yet to get to a point where we support each other as Christians. You might find if MC Kalia plans something locally and it's secular, it gets a lot of support. This is not meant to complain at all, but you find either us, we are not as vigorous as we are supposed to be, but we such that we so much into faith and not into actions, but we also not yet there where Christians support each other. That we do property management where I work, Cosmic Consultants. That a Cosmic Consultants as a Christian-based organization, or rather the owner is a Christian, can hold AFLEWO and give them some support financially just because they are Christians. We are yet to get there, and I pray to God we get to somewhere that as long as you are doing kingdom business, I will support you. I don't care whatever you are doing. It's kingdom business. You vetted me and you are okay. You are sure that this one is kingdom business. For my Father in heaven, I will support you with the little or the much that I can have. So finances are a bit of a trouble. Going to convince people about Christianity, about faith, and why you should give us money is a tall order. But we thank God, so far so good. We trust in God that we will get there where we ask people for support and they know you. They know what you do. They know the business you are into and they support you. Another challenge we get is churches. We are yet to get to a point where Eldoret churches hold hands in support of each other. You get this pastor does not work with the other. This church does not work with the other. I don't think that's the channel we should be going. If you ask me from where we sit, we should be united. Like AFLEWO, one of the pillars, it's unity. We are trying as much as we can. Like this year, we've invited so many pastors so that if there are any that does not work together, maybe this pastor does not work with this pastor, they will sit on the same. And I don't think the fact that I'm seated with Denoski, it would hinder me from worshiping. So the fact that will be praying together, I think that would mean something. So tomorrow we meet, maybe our relationship might be softer or a bit kind. In that, having mentioned that, you find like in the choir, we come from different churches and we have our own program. On a Friday, we are doing a practice kesha the whole night, but also other churches have their own keshas. I think we would advise you go first to your church. We are not a church. So if you mess up with your church, where will you be worshiping from? Us, we are just here for a process, and maybe a night. Now, we just advise, if your pastor has called you, just go. You see, and that is a very skillful person that we need.
Of course, allow me to interrupt you.
Yes.
How easy is it to do a letter to a church? I don't know how churches communicate. In terms of, AFLEWO is here. Of course, we've talked about 2 challenges so far. And before you even go to the third one, because it seems there's a third one, I'm imagining how easy this is. First of all, that you've made it clear that you're not a church. You are here for some time.
Yes.
Is there a possibility of maybe you now doing maybe a letter or something to a church and telling them that we may need to have a fellowship with your team for these and these particular days? And of course, even in their own offerings and other givings, they come in somehow to support AFLEWO. Is there such a framework, or have you ever tried such a thing, and what were the challenges if they came?
We have not tried such a thing, but instead of letters, we go physical meetings to request for them. But most importantly, we send these participants who came willingly during the auditions to join us for the year and the process. So when it comes to their pastor, I think they're in a better position to go explain themselves. This year, I have joined this this movement. We are a movement. I've joined this movement and we are doing this. We'll be having this and this process. But when it comes to church programs, you see the church programs are in the beginning of the year. Yes, us, we are also in the beginning of the year. But I think prioritizing the church, for example, Easter holiday, we did so little during the month of April because many churches have Pasaka programs. So you find you need a keyboard, they have something in their church. You need 5 vocalists, they have something in their church. They come from different churches. So we are like, okay, fine, just finish with the church. So that's like I was mentioning, is one of the challenges. And also the unity, where we can join hands and just say, you see what, you this church, do your program this weekend. You this church, push yours to the next weekend so that we can attend both. We can attend this, and maybe any other. When we get to that platform, we'll be so glad. And we are looking forward to that. If God will use AFLEWO to reach to that program, glory be to him.
Okay, now Denoski seems to have something to say.
Thank you. I'm glad that my chair has actually mentioned some of the challenges that you're facing, and I will not wish to repeat them. But yes, of course, working with churches, working with pastors, and so far we want to really appreciate the pastors so far who have allowed to work with us and also support this vision. We really thank God for that. I think mine is just one thing my pastor used to tell me, that God has so many children. And of course, when you gather people from different denominations, of course, you will face challenges as far as group cohesiveness and social cohesion is concerned. Because Kalia, the way you do things is not the same how I do things. So of course, we do have challenges in terms of social cohesion, but we really appreciate and thank God, because as AFLEWO has got a very nice and clear structure on how to deal with such issues in case they come, in case they appear. So I think for me, working with groups, working with the support team, kidogo social cohesion was something that was really challenging, but because of the structures, and actually because after working with them for a very long time, you actually get experience, so that you know what to say, you know how to interact, and also how to relate with people. And also the issue of resources, of course, to do such an event, you really need resources. And of course, trying to get partners, being, you know, a church event, some partners might have a different opinion on view. So it's actually been very big challenge, but we thank God for our resource mobilization team. Each and every day is a learning process. We learn and we try to get better. And even, of course, those who are watching us, of course, there's a friend of mine, kila wakati ananiambianga, Denoski, AFLEWO is just AFLEWO is a very big brand. It's a very big brand bana. Ebu mfanye kitu mpate resources. So that friend, I know he's watching, nimeona comment yake pale. He can actually help us through the permission of our resource mobilization team to even send us ideas on how to go about this particular issue.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
And when you say that, of course, I've ever heard somebody says, kanisa ndio kuna pesa.
Yes, and also perhaps maybe if you can just allow me to say to mention this, nilikuwa nimesahau kidogo. Of course, we really appreciate even our choir members and everyone at large, because at AFLEWO, number one thing chair alikuwa mention is about commitment. Commitment is such a big thing in AFLEWO, because Kalia, you know, our members have to pay registration fee. Alafu pia kuna, they also have to part way with some amount for uniforms. So you know, part of that, most of our members are students, so it becomes actually hard for them to raise such amount, and that registration fee is what help us to cater for our budget and so on.
So there is a registration fee. Okay, you didn't tell me about that, chair. Let's go.
Thank you.
That should have come in earlier.
Thank you. Yes, there is a registration fee. It's just a way of resource mobilization. It's nothing like you are paying to sing. So, when we began, people used to ask, why am I paying to just come and worship? No, you're not paying. You're just helping us, because we believe mkono mtupu haulambwi. You're going to seek for funds from friends and other sponsors. Yet you yourself, you have nothing. Now, Chair and Donoski cannot raise, say, 500,000 if that is what we need. But we ask now, okay, fine, let's do this. Let's come together. But now, for us to do this, we need this and such amount. Let's do this. This year, we'll be asking for 2,000 shillings. This 2,000 is just a commitment, part of your commitment. On top of your time, on top of your other resources, we just seek 2,000 shillings for the whole of the year. So you're not coming to pay to sing. You're just helping us to raise funds. Yes.
And, when you talk about registration, and you've talked about resources being one of the biggest, resource
Challenge.
mobilization being one of the maybe biggest hindrances to what we may want to have. Somebody asked this question the other day, and I feel that I may want to transfer it to you. Have you ever thought of having other income generating avenues for you to now maybe subsidize also? Because this is a movement. Do you have any intentions of owning a few things here and there, or what is the plan for AFLEWO in terms of resources in the next maybe 5 years?
Thank you. You're just thinking like an investor, our host. I am not sure whether we can go that direction. We would wish to, maybe with growth, because at the end of the year, you'll do returns. You have to comply with the authorities. And when you start generating income, you know the implications it comes with the tax and the returns. So we wouldn't wish to be at that point where we are generating income. Ours would just be, we need this for this event. We are done. So we wait for next year. We need this for this event. We wouldn't mind, though, to get to that point where we have maybe generating incomes, because again, as a Christian, it's good to pay tax. So if we get to that platform where you are generating income and you needed to pay tax, we will be delighted to do that. But for now, we are just seeking and utilizing everything we are given. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Of course, we're now coming to the tail part of it, and I'll give Denoski a chance to, first of all, talk to those who maybe have been hesitating about coming to the event and all that, as you also give your closing remarks.
Wow, yes, thank you. First, I want to start by inviting you. Please come and attend the event with your director. I'm looking forward to see Dory Africa on that particular day, so that you guys can just come, so that we worship and even pray for this particular business and the entity at large. And also to everyone who is watching this broadcast, I welcome you on the 2nd of June from 8 p.m. Please find time to come early, so that you can get an opportunity and you can have a chance to, just worship God. Watu wote tu, yani, we just want to invite you regardless of your denomination, regardless of wewe ni nani. Hata watu wa tamasha, juzi tulikuwa pale, tuko kwa group fulani na my friend here Kalia, and we are trying to put a conversation over there, tukisema hiyo siku tamasha ifungwe. Yani now that ulikuwa bring that conversation, we just pray that everyone just to come and worship. Juzi chair, I don't know if my chairman ali notice, we were having practice at Deliverance Church. And then in the middle of the practice, sasaba usiku, we saw someone very unfamiliar face, and we were like, huyo ni nani? And then the guy told us that he was kwa ametoka sherehe zake za dunia, and then he was just going home, alafu akasikia watu wakiomba wakiimba, and he was like, let me just pass over there. The guy was blessed until morning. So we wish to invite each and everyone to come on that particular day so that we can worship God.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Denoski. And of course, this is to protect the brand Tamasha because, of course, we've used it. We've made references to it. Of course, we're not attacking the business, but then, of course, rather, I think it has become a standard of, I think they've done some good branding and they've become a standard of what they do. Of course, they still pay taxes, and you say paying taxes is good, and so I may not want to indulge into discussing them much. So that is why I'll maybe not. Let's not maybe go that direction. Anyway, Chairperson, as we finish, of course, there are people asking about whether they can attend, whether there is a chance for you to have viewers who can attend this year's events virtually or other through social media and all that. Maybe you can answer that as you also do your parting shot.
Thank you. Yes, we will be online. We will be on all platforms, so that is Facebook and YouTube. And if you're not able to make it to Eldoret physically, you can follow us on our social media platforms. We will be online throughout the night. Yes, we will be. If you can allow me just to mention, without mentioning that name, but say clubs in general. The scripture says you are either cold or hot. There is no lukewarm in Christ. So you are either this side or this side. You asked about our comment in terms of clubs and all that. But our belief is that is not the will of God. I don't know what benefits those things can give you. For example, those excessive drinkings, those partying and that I find them a bit uncontrollable and rather careless. Our hope and advice is, if you can come to Christ. To Christ, there is no that, there is no this. We have to be categorical. I was talking to a friend the other day about a certain topic, and we were agreeing Christians needs to be categorical. You see the Shakahola thing. We need to be radical as it is. Otherwise, the enemy is out there, and he's talking very nicely and smart. His tongue is sweet, and he's roaring like a lion looking for somebody to swallow. So if we were radical and somebody's faith is so strong, I do not think such nonsense can get you in your life, that you're told to do this and it doesn't make sense. So we have to be categorical. We do not support clubbing. We do not support those alcoholic platforms. We wish even those people and the owners and all those that are involved. There's a time, by the way, we were doing prayer walks and we were just walking, closing those clubs and asking God, please open a church here, replace it with this club. And we can see things happening without even mentioning which direction we were taking, but clubs are closing and churches are opening. But our prayer is if those churches can be of good morals, not cults, and not preach their own benefits preachings, but just preach Christ and Christ only. If you allow me again, as parting shot, is to thank the so far sponsors that have stood with us so far. We are grateful so much. Without mentioning your names, we are grateful. We are
Maybe
grateful.
I'll give you a chance to just mention them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I would be delighted. We have Cosmic Consultants. That's where I work. We are grateful. God bless you. Spiffing, that is Ropers, and Big Lenses, Big Afric, their studios. We've been using it for practices. Even yesterday, we were doing a live show, and that they really supported us. God bless you, together with your directors. K Graphics, Wait for It Internet. We have Deliverance Church, where we'll be going. We have MJ, we have Tarajua Events, our boss here. And have I forgotten anyone?
Diesel,
Yes.
We have Diesel Power.
Diesel Power, the Elder Line.
St. Luke's.
Eldoret Leo.
Or Eldoret Leo.
Yes,
Eldoret Leo,
yes.
St. Luke's.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Forgot to mention to you that even in churches where when we go to for practices, we are not a church. We have nothing of our own. We don't have a keyboard. We don't have drums. We don't have microphones. We seek for those things from churches. So if you host us, you give us with those. So again, to those churches that have really supported us, ICC Shauri, Pastor Kamau, IVC, Bishop Likavo, Deliverance Church, Bishop George Gichana, SPF's Requa Pentecostal, you have really supported us. God bless you. Thank you so much, even for yourself. This is a support of its kind. We are grateful and we look forward to coming again. Yes.
And of course, I'll bring you again after the event to look at expectations versus reality. But then before you go, there is something you've mentioned, and I don't know if that was clearly answered in terms of you having your own things as a movement. And I don't think it will hurt having something like a conference center or because I'm looking at this in the next 5 years, and maybe it's a question that I didn't ask you, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Thank you. We have a resource mobilization team, and they were bringing that subject in their table. When you see the hustle of seeking and borrowing, Christians are not beggars. Christians are those owners of those big clubs and even transport systems and any other big and huge business, they are Christians. So definitely we are not beggars. And when it comes to kingdom, we do not want to express the same. We want, God is the owner of this. You remember we say silver and gold belongs to him. That's to mean everything we have. Everything we have belongs to him. So we do not mind doing that. I had answered that we do not mind, though for now we are yet to go down into practicals, but we do not mind. I think it should be the way we should be going, so that we can even support others. We do not be seeking or asking for funds all along. Yes, we do not mind.
Thank you so much. That has been the Morning Glory Show, of course, coming live from Dawi Afrique Photography. If you need to dress to be addressed, if you need something to wear while you'd be attending the AFLEWO night, then you need to walk into D Square. D Square is a serious, it is a serious cloth line in this region. You need quality. We're talking about quality here. We're talking about elegance here. We're talking about perfection. Then you need to walk into D Square Fashion House. And at the same time, they have a school. So that means also, if you need to take up fashion as a career, then they're also the option for you. So make sure that you take some time, visit them at the 4th floor of KTS building and get to interact with them. Reminding you also about our trip to Rimoi on the 17th and 18th day of June 2023. That is next month. Please do join us and let's go. Have fun. Twende tujibambe kule Rimoi. Remember, as you also go, there is a lot of other attractive sites, including the Iten viewpoint. There is the Torok Falls and all that. You'd be able to also experience that in that particular loop. And before I exit, of course, if you've not liked the broadcast, please do like the broadcast. Do share the broadcast. Of course, it will remain there, so you can still share with those who may not have watched this particular interview, so that they can continue to enrich themselves with whatever you've shared this particular morning. I know so many people would be wondering, of course, and asking questions about all that you've mentioned. So you can still, of course, I'll give Denoski a chance to also maybe download it, have it in cut, so that you can have your message going as far as possible. But then, as they mentioned, the 2nd day of June, that is 2nd June 2023, that is 8 days away.
Yes.
Make sure that you go to Deliverance Church. They've said you go there by 6 because it could get full. Yeah. They're saying that the attendances have been thick and fast, so make sure that you also make time to be there as early as possible. Of course, I can see their poster is already up there, so get the details, visit their pages. You can also reach them via their page. I've seen it, AFLEWO page. They actually have a page, so you can also visit them there and make sure that you do support them. With that, my name is MC Kalia, and on behalf of everyone who made effort to have this broadcast going on air, have a beautiful day, and make sure also that in a world that there is so much you can be kind.